day, fellow rockers, moshers, and the vinyl CD community. And actually, that's what this is. This episode is going to be about. Is going to be the CD vinyl community. And I'm doing a thread response to Stormwind79, and I will link that in the description. Stormwind_79. So he's running a little contest challenge, so to speak. I'm not sure if the contest is over, but I'll definitely hop on the challenge aspect of this. So his challenge is, I guess it's sort of 5 or 10 albums that we view as innovative for various different reasons. I guess I have some in mind that maybe not innovative, maybe musically, but maybe innovative to who it inspired. So some of them are different, innovative for various reasons. So I'm going to go ahead with this. I actually think I have 12 or something, so I went all out for the guy. Anyway, so first one I kind of view as innovative was Nine Inch Nails' Broken EP. And again, at this point, nobody ever kind of heard anything like it, or nobody's ever done anything like it, where it's just super intense kind of industrial music. It's in your face. This whole EP is just incredible. Oh man, I remember having this back when I was a kid and just in dire love with it. I ended up kind of rebuying a perfect kind of brand new edition reissue that came out. So this one is brand new. The one that I had when I was a kid is just beat the hell up. So glad to get this one. If you're not familiar with this, you are living under a rock. Another one, innovative, was it's pretty well kind of modernized punk rock, the First Ramones. And I didn't want to say invented punk rock, because I actually have another band in here that I think did invent punk rock. So I'm not going to get too into that, but Ramones were definitely modernized punk rock. Every band came and copied the Ramones after the Clash, yada yada, Misfits. They all seen what the Ramones was doing, and they all kind of did their own little take, but Ramones was the first. Innovative vocally was what I see as the first ever female screamer that did all out like death metal-esque vocals. I forget her name off the top of my head here, sorry. Sabina Klassen, I believe. Yeah, Sabina. So again, maybe musically it might not have been innovative, an extreme thrash, but vocally, nobody was screaming like she was on this album. Nobody was, and I know there's some debate that maybe I forget her name, but Wendy O. Williams was kind of the first female screamer. But when I listen to Wendy O. Williams and the Plasmatics, she has more of a punk vibe. She might do some odd screaming here and there, but nothing like Sabina, where Sabina was going into more death metal-esque vocal, basically like what Arch Enemy does with the deep death metal vocals. Again, in 1986, nobody else, as far as I know, was doing that. So that is the first female metal screamer of all time. I truly believe that. If I'm wrong, hit me up and tell me some super obscure stuff that was screaming before her. Again, even going back to B-52s, the B-52 girls did some odd shrieks and screams here and there, but nothing like death metal. So another innovative one, I believe, was Dimmu Borgir and Throne Darkness. Maybe not this specific album, but kind of Dimmu Borgir in general. They kind of just, no, they probably didn't invent or innovate symphonic black metal, but they touched on a unique symphonic black metal sound that kind of modernized that, and then everybody kind of did symphonic black metal after. And this is one hell of an album. Oh man, I remember kind of just the first time I got into it, and this kind of got me more into black metal, I guess, per se. I knew of Cannibal Corpse, and I was into death metal and things like that, but in terms of atmospheric and the symphonic things, nobody was kind of doing that stuff back then, so I kind of view that as kind of a bit innovative. Maybe not this specific album, but Carcass in general with their their grind-ish metal that they were doing, right? A lot of that unique grind tone that you can find still on grind albums to this day. So this is kind of just my favorite Carcass album, so I thought I'd throw it out there. And yeah, I'm sure everybody's fairly familiar with Carcass and the whole modern grind thing that they were touching on. And some more innovative stuff here that I see is Rainbow Rising, or maybe just all the first couple rainbows, the first two rainbows with Dio, well, even the third one as well. But I guess I'll just focus on Rainbow Rising. This kind of started the whole power metal craze. I think, well, this and Judas Priest. I will not leave Judas Priest out of that power metal topic. But, just for shits and giggles, kind of on the super fantasy things that Dio was touching on. That was definitely, that's just innovative for the power metal genre. And kind of laying the groundwork for, hey, if you're going to be power metal, you have to be talking about fantasy and, all that kind of stuff. But, fantasy kind of Lord of the Rings type of stuff, right? So, and then completely opposite end of fantasy was blast beats. And for sure blast beats started in the 80s, but this guy is seen as modernizing the modern blast beat, Suffocation drummer. His name's kind of slipping my mind right now, but a lot of people view this as the modern blast beat guy. He kind of modernized that blast beat. So again, I'm not a drummer, so I'm not going to really touch on the specifics. We'll let the drummers take care of that one. And then back to my little punk rock talk was Iggy Pop, right? So the man was quite the wild man back in the day. He was doing drugs, and he was going on stage cutting himself and just doing whatever he could to get a rise out of people. People would walk out of shows in disgust, and I absolutely love the Funhouse album. Oh man, and it's weird. Even when you listen to this back, it may even not seem like punk, but back in 76, I believe, Funhouse? No, it's the 1970, sorry. 1970. Probably the first, and even, the first Stooges album was kind of more mainstream, I guess you'd say, but on Funhouse they kind of started experimenting with some more longer songs and some more kind of experimental type stuff, and then mixing in with Iggy Pop's Wild Man thing. And it's really, the thing I love about this album, it just sounds lively, where it almost sounds like pretty much the producer just got the band to play live in a studio, and the producer just hit record, and whatever came out, and that is fucking punk rock. Next we kind of got the kind of early signs of a speed metal riff, a thrash riff on the Queen Heart Attack on the Sheer Heart Attack album. And maybe the whole album itself is not metal per se, but he definitely laid the groundwork for some metal type riffing, and obviously it did inspire James Hetfield and the whole thrash scene that came after. Still to this day, Metallica playing Stone Cold Crazy, and that's kind of the template for speed riffing, so to speak. So gonna have to say that's innovative as well. And this was probably not the first punk rock, modern punk rock. Obviously, I've been touching on some punk rock, the Stooges, Ramones, and then after the 70s Stooges, after the later half of the 70s Ramones, in comes modern punk and hardcore with the Exploited, Troops of Tomorrow. So they kind of innovated that modern, punky, thrashy kind of sound. And it's kind of innovative for all the bands that came after. All the bands looked up to, Exploited, Discharge, GBH. So at this point, I could have pulled out any of those bands, GBH, Discharge, or Exploited, for modernizing hardcore. So I kind of just focused on, I don't think I have the first Discharge or GBH, so that's why I did pull out the first Exploited. So, they kind of just innovated modern hardcore music per se, and then in comes, and then even, James Hetfield, again, was inspired by what was going on with the punk hardcore scene, just how fast it was going. So, James Hetfield basically saw GBH, and not saw, but he heard GBH, and he heard Diamond Head, and he said, what if we took Diamond Head's amazing songwriting and solos, but then mixed it with GBH's speed. And then, you know, if you just combine Diamond Head and GBH or Exploited, you combine those two bands, Diamond Head and that, if you combine that, you get thrash metal. So there's that. And maybe not innovative musically or even anything, but I guess I kind of just pulled this out because it kind of inspired and influenced a whole generation of female rockers. So I got the Runaways here, and again, maybe not musically, they're not innovative at all, but just in terms of who it inspired and how many female artists we got of that, and how many female artists are still looking up to this. You know, young people are still going back and finding out the Runaways, and obviously the Runaways had their movie years ago, and that just inspired a whole new wave. And I'd say, like, any band that came after this, if you were a female and you came after this, you were inspired by this. So for that reason alone, I am putting this under that innovative thing. So again, if you guys think I'm wrong on this, sure, go ahead, you know, comment and say I'm way off, but it's just kind of innovative for females, right? And next up, innovative to Rockabilly. Obviously, Stray Cats, man, Brian Setzer. I'm not really too sure. Obviously, Rockabilly kind of existed before him in the 50s and 60s, and Brian Setzer kind of jazzed it up and did his own kind of version and kind of jazzed it up and took it out of that 50s, 60s era and kind of rocked it up a bit and add a little bit of party to it. So, you know, Stray Cats, innovative for sure. I won't take any debates on that. And this is going to be a little bit of a weird one, but I was looking through my CD collection, and I can't even have the term for this right now, but they did innovate this kind of Tenger Cavalry. They did innovate, oh man, I forget what they're calling this, but like I should have researched it a bit, but Tenger Cavalry, I know the band Who is getting a lot of attention right now for what they're doing with that. It's really just slipping me here, but you know, look up Tenger Cavalry, and they were innovative, and they created a whole new genre, and no other band ever will sound like them, and no other band has ever sounded like them with their kind of throat singing that he's doing, and the really European vibes. Again, nothing else sounds like this. The Who came along after, and I believe kind of stole their sound, and they're getting all the credit for it. I kind of think that's bullshit. Tenger Cavalry should be getting all the credit. So there's that, and then also the Tenger Cavalry main guy did die. Rest in peace. Sorry, his name is slipping my mind, but he deserves some credit there, much more credit than the Who band. So there we go. There's my, actually, I think it was 12 or 13 innovative albums. So hope you appreciate that. And I am running a VCLT challenge. So if Stormwind wants to hop on that, I'd really appreciate that. Thanks so much. Peace. Love.